to Jamaica and see a man have some yam on the shelf and this and that. But nothing was mentioned. I went out in the military, came back in the early 80s, and the first store, it was a Korean store. Because there are people that had the opportunity to go to a few bases down there in South Korea also. And they are agricultural people, the country people, they're rural area, they're heavy into agriculture, you know. So it was not surprising. The Korean store opened at 225 on White Plains Road was the only one, the first one. That's about 1982. And I noticed they were selling a lot of our produce, you know. And they didn't, and if you go in there and ask them for something, and they didn't have it, they would ask you is what? It's like the manager and everybody would come out and ask you, what you want? What is it? What you use it for? And like 2 weeks you go back in, they have X amount of it. They found out everything that the Jamaicans like, and that is who they catered to because it was a predominantly Jamaican neighborhood. Everything you want. And I always wondered, but what I realized, and then now Israeli Koreans, as the Brethren was saying, they didn't take over that business uptown. As a matter of fact, in New York, and probably other area, other states too, because they buy in bulk, they develop their chains, believe me, they must sell breadfruit, they must sell everything when we need in Jamaica here. After a while, other countries started producing these things, so they. But in that time, they were importing it from Jamaica and going alongside what you were speaking to with the brethren, and then having gone back to Jamaica in the 90s and trying to do the same thing. Then they had the AMC and all these bases, you know, that would buy your help you sell your produce and stuff like that. But I always wondered why we didn't do better. And like him said, we can't, and like you said, brother Dervan, it's not just a supply, you know, because, you know, there are people in Jamaica, we don't have large farms, but if it could be developed where, as opposed to the middle and who are on that track, people hard, you know, work. So,
oh dear, line is breaking up again, driver. Line is breaking up. And hello? Oh dear, not good.
Hello?
Yes, hearing you again now.
Yeah, brother Dervan, you hear me, sir?
Yes, hearing you now. You were asking, you said you were wondering what happened, why, you know, after AMC and so on. Yeah.
Demand, you know,
right.
We never did. And so here, that's a 1982 me I tell you about. And here the version I tell you right now in 2022, this is the same uptown. I know people are lining up the mango and them stuff like that. Brother Dervan, it's the distribution, you know what I mean? The government have to work on that. By and large, the farmers in Jamaica are on their own. And I don't know, you know, with all the trade agreements and this and that, and so something could have been done from then till now for us to have our products coming into the United States. Because as he indicated to you, man, I'll be a $58 to mango. Oh, believe me, me wait till me come to Jamaica to eat mango. But some people, they like that. They love the mango like that, you know what I mean? But the demand is like that, brother Dervan. You know, the demand is like, the demand is here from way back in them time that you know. I mean, that's just one neighborhood I tell you about. You travel all over the diaspora in the United States and you see all the different Jamaican, anywhere you go, you see Jamaican community like, whoa. And the demand is there. But for some reason, and it's not that we don't produce, brother Dervan. We produce, maybe not enough to fill all of the demand. But when you send 2 containers of mango and this and that come here and about that, that is nothing. We should be consistently, you know, the government should be consistently, you know, encouraging, you know, go around, get truck, whatever, drive around, pay the farmers fair price because we're not large farmers, as I said, but the produce is here and a lot of it rot. Believe me, brother Dervan, you would be surprised how much of our farm products rot in the field, no market.
Mm-mm.
And the demand is here on this side of the Atlantic. You see how it is, sir?
Yeah,
Right
that's
across
not
the
good.
ocean right there.
Mm.
Yeah, so something the trade people need, instead of they run out the election and take over the people post and this and that. These are the things that you're supposed to be foreign minister and trade minister and all of them. Because the demand has been there. United States. Manning's high school brethren up in Canada and all the people that he tell you, you know that the demand is there, right, brother, sir? Yard
Yes.
market.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so don't you think the government could be doing a little bit more to move things along and address that demand? And like the virgin was saying again, you fly over Jamaica many times, when you look now, all you see is green. Everywhere you see, I mean, I talk about political party. When you look down, I had to take that one. but it's a lush country.
It
Same
is.
time Madison last night, people are dead. The Nile is drying up. Imagine that. And famine in Africa. And it's the same thing with government. Look at Israel. Desert. But you got the amount of farming where the man them do. It boggles the mind. And it's just using using their knowledge to master the earth and develop their industry. Jamaica has a lot more agricultural space than Israel. But it wasn't you or the caller that said, oh, there's a serious attention paid to that and recognize, as the brethren say, our treasure and start to invest in agriculture on that level and develop markets overseas. Not the market is there, but develop avenues, and stop thinking about agriculture as a poor man thing. That is, believe me, brother, if we can um develop our agriculture to the potential that there is. We don't have to think about nothing else, tourism, all them and all them and all them. And as brother Rasta looked about the multiplier effect, all of them for farmer get something in them hand to take care of them picnic, and then we can develop farming, and then we can have all the case graduates and all them people lend their expertise to more, first world type farming. But agriculture is not taken seriously there. And even with the products that we have right now, the distribution to the
Hello? Line going again, driver. The line is cold. The line is cold. Hello, hello, hello. All right. Well, as you know by now, listeners, driver travels right across the United States of America, doing deliveries here and there, and obviously, this it's not unique to Jamaica where cell signals drop in particular areas or there are problems as you move across the area. One moment, please.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is 4 o'clock.
The holiday season is just around the corner. Now is the time to order gifts of appreciation for your customers and staff. Touchline Industries will print your name and logo on a wide range of promotional products. Visit our website at touchlinejamaica.com. Remember the name, Touchline.
To keep on doing good all the time, all the time, all the time.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 4. Quelle heure est-il en français? Il est 4 heures. 现在几点了？4 点. And the time just changed, actually. All along, we were saying 4 o'clock, and then we come upon 4:01. It's 4:01. Son las 4:01. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:01. 现在几点了？4点01分. A minute past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. We see Steve McDonald has joined us from Toronto, Canada. Bear with us, Steve. We have a scheduled interview which we're about to begin. As soon as we're through, we'll be happy to hear from you. How about that? Thank you very much for your patience and understanding. In the meantime, let's go straight to our scheduled interview here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. Our guest this afternoon is president of the Pension Industry Association of Jamaica, and she is Sanya Goff. Good afternoon to you, Ms. Goff. How are you?
Hi, good afternoon, Dervan. How are you doing?
I am fine, thanks. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure.
Happy to be here.
Wonderful. Now, first up, how old is this association, the Pension Industry Association of Jamaica?
Almost 18 years. We're 17 years in terms of incorporation, yes?
Where have I been? Goodness.
I don't know. I mean, we've been very active. Our name used to be the Pension Funds Association of Jamaica, but that didn't really articulate the membership profile. So it's the Pension Industry Association of Jamaica. We are a kind of stakeholder lobby group consisting of pension funds, investment managers, administrators, pretty much all the stakeholders in the pension industry. And we focus on two main things: lobbying for pension reform and legislative change to improve retirement security for Jamaicans, and also educating Jamaicans on the importance of retirement security, all with a view of reducing old age poverty and disrupting generational poverty and interdependence for better Jamaica.
Yes. So I'm just reading a bit of the information here that nearly 60 years after Jamaica's independence, only 18% of the population, including public sector workers, can count on a pension to provide some income stability in retirement. Now, that is scary.
It is. And I want to kind of distill that statistic a little bit.
Please.
So when we talk about 18%, we really are speaking, as you said, about private sector and public sector, meaning public sector workers who are part of the public sector pension plan.
Yes.
There are a lot of public sector workers who are not in the public sector pension plan.
Uh-oh.
And when we think about private sector workers alone, the persons who just work for Grace Kennedy or John Brown and Company, that statistic is 11%, and it's hovered at 9 to 11% for many, many years, almost coming on pretty much since independence. It's been very, very low. And that's part of what we want to disrupt, that we want to change. We want to change that choice architecture by putting forward this proposal of automatically enrolling people in retirement schools.
Why is this, I don't know the extent to been exposed to other pension systems globally, but is this such a low level of pensions or pension plans?
It's unique. I mean, every retirement system is a little different. Our low coverage, how it compares to other jurisdictions in the Caribbean, I don't have that data.
Okay.
But certainly more developed regimes, they're far ahead of us. I mean, I'll go to conferences and people speak about coverage being 60% and talking about it being so low, and we would love to be at 60%. So, I mean, comparatively, it's one thing, but the fact is that in its absolute terms, it's just not acceptable. I mean, the fiscal burden that's going to arise if we don't do something urgently to improve retirement security for Jamaicans is dire, is a significant one.
And we're going to come back to how you are dealing with that as an association, but in terms of the let's say, have you determined an approach? I mean, maybe you have done so a long time ago, maybe not, but how does the PIAJ plan to make more than a dent in the numbers in terms of pension coverage in Jamaica?
So our proposal which is a big part of it,
Yes.
is that what we want to see is where an employer does not have a pension plan, they would be statutorily mandated to enroll that employee into a retirement scheme. So right now in Jamaica, we don't have mandatory pensions. You cannot force an employer to put in place a pension plan. And that's the position of the government at the moment. We're not mandating pensions. You have the NIS, which you have to contribute to, which is our social security system. But when it comes to private pensions, an employer is not obligated to put in place a pension plan. And fine. What we're saying is, if you don't have a pension plan for your employees, at a minimum, let it be required statutorily for you to put them in a retirement scheme. We have 13 retirement scheme providers. It's a competitive industry. They all provide good services and good products. And so when they get enrolled into this retirement scheme, so this is Barita, Proven Rock, Scotia Bridge, NCB, Smart, any of those products you see advertised, or enroll them. Once they'll join your employment, automatically enroll them in a retirement scheme. But the employee, it's not a tax, the employee still controls how they plan for their retirement security, because they will always have the power to opt out of the scheme, come out of the scheme if they wanted to. But what we have found is that when you look at behavioral science, Dervan, and you look at how people kind of, the kind of procrastination that normally attaches to decisions of this nature, when you put somebody in, they generally don't take the active step to come out. And so it is really, as I said, kind of flipping that choice architecture. Rather than expecting somebody to, on their own initiative, go to NCB or Scotia or any of the other providers and say, sign me up. We're going to put you in. And then you can say, no, let me come out.
What would prevent you? Well, maybe I should put the question another way. In terms of auto enrollment, how far do you think that can go in raising the numbers as far as pension coverage in Jamaica is concerned? How hopeful are you that if that option is pursued, you will be able to reap rewards, so to speak?
I'm hopeful that we will see coverage going up from where we are, 9/11, plus the 18%. So it's really hard to estimate, but I think we could see a coverage increasing by up to even 40%, possibly. Yeah, maybe 40%, 30-40%. I mean, it's hard to say because there are a number of different factors that have to work well.
True.
In the execution of the proposal. How it's rolled out, the communication process, how employers engage with employees around it, ensuring that it's not too burdensome. Removing the friction in terms of getting people in and staying in, etc. And so, but when you look at other jurisdictions, you'll see where coverage has improved by 50%, 60%, sometimes up to 70%. But a lot of it turns on the design features of the proposal, and what are, in some cases, in some countries, there are incentives for employers to contribute as well. Because in this proposal, we're not requiring or suggesting employers have to contribute. But in jurisdictions where employers are mandated to contribute, you find that people stay in a lot more. Because if I'm contributing $5 and my employer contributes another $5, that's free money. That's money that's just there to take. It doubles my contribution. So you find that there are certain elements of design that will improve the coverage rate.
I see. Now, I'm sure you're aware there are those of us who prefer to do what we know to do, or to do what has worked for us. Those who would keep the money under the mattress or hide it away somewhere in the house, gradually put money towards it, and you say that is your old age pension or something like that. Some of them, because they don't understand the system and they've heard all kinds of things in the news about bank fees and these things, and they wonder if when they come to a pension, they sign up for a pension product at one of the entities you listed, for example, the extent to which it will be in their best interest, as opposed to one that maybe takes out, because people are going to have a problem with, whether there are taxes that are taken out of the pension as opposed to it being tax-free, for example. For those who harbor those concerns, what would you say to them?
It's always best to save in a retirement arrangement because of the tax benefits, as you've mentioned. So you can't do better. You can't do better on your own, as in after tax. Take advantage of the tax deferred system that we have. Make your contributions to your pension arrangements before it is taxed. All your accretions on the interest and returns are also tax free. And when you get to retirement, that's when you will have a taxable event. And so, meaning that's when your pension will be taxed. You'll always be better when you have that additional boost when it comes to retirement savings. And so, if you have money to save, ensure you save as much as you can, as allowed under law, in a retirement arrangement to get that tax benefit. And then, if you have extra, put it in another product.
I see. Now, with respect to auto enrollment, once again, how do you see it working? Is it that you would have to have, I don't know, a series of meetings, sessions to get people to understand what is going to happen and how it works? Do you have all of those mechanics worked out already?
Right. So we've already had, like I said, oh no, I didn't say this before. We've started a series of stakeholder engagement where we've met with retirement scheme providers, members of the PIAJ. We met with Jamaica Chamber of Commerce, AmCham, TSOJ, the Confederation of Trade Unions. We met with the Business Process Industry Association, a number of stakeholder groups, and we've gotten very positive support and resounding support for this. Very good feedback as well, good critique to help improve the proposal. We then moved on to meeting with what we call our sponsor groups, our kind of government entities. We met with TAJ, FSC, Ministry of Labour. We met with the BOJ, the leader of the opposition and his team. We are the final kind of nail in it all, to kind of hopefully close out the stakeholder engagement is to meet with the Ministry of Finance. And so we're hoping to get that meeting. The minister is very busy. But once we are able to kind of present to him, we're hoping to get the boost and support to take it forward to speak to, set up a legislative committee, draft the legislation and kind of move it forward. And then, of course, there's going to have to be a very targeted, direct, thoughtful public education campaign around it to ensure we get the kind of buy-in that we need.
Yeah. And can you tell us, again, people might be concerned about cost. They're wondering, what will auto enrollment cost workers?
It shouldn't cost you anything more than it would cost you now to enroll in a retirement scheme. So if you went to NCB now, you signed up to NCB or Scotia, the only fee you're paying is whatever kind of what would be equivalent to bank fees, whatever, investment manager fees that may be charged on your account.
Nothing exorbitant.
No, well, I don't know what these fees are, and that's one of the things, Dervan, that this proposal will do. It is going to bring a lot more sunlight on the fee structure for these products.
Oh, hold on. Just tell us some more on that after the break, please. One moment. Listeners, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about pensions and related matters. The Pension Industry Association of Jamaica, PIAJ, represented by Sanya Goff, the president. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:50. National Irrigation Commission customers, you can now pay your bills online using your Visa credit card, MasterCard, or NCB key card by visiting the website www.nicjamaica.com. Select Pay Your Bill option, then follow the instructions, or visit any one of their office locations and pay using your debit card. The National Irrigation Commission Limited, irrigation, making the difference in agriculture.
Que hora es en espagnol? Son las 4:16. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:16. Tiensai, TDN le. CDN Shi Liao Fen. 16 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? If not, now is a good time. Yes, young people, we know it's a Friday, but you know what we always say? Have some fun doing the homework now so you can have some more fun this weekend. How about that? We trust you had a productive day of learning today. Hope you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable, education makes you trainable, training makes you employable, and the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. Let's continue with our guest who has long done her homework. That's why she's able to join us and tell us all about the plans and the offerings and the opportunities of the Pension Industry Association of Jamaica, PIAJ, which is 18 years old, 17 going 18 or 18 already. Remind us, please, Sanya Goff, Madam President.
It's also 18. Yes, 18, 2022, 18, yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So now let's get back to the question of cost. So you're saying this will now be a sort of a watershed moment as far as these costs are concerned, or getting an idea of what the current charges are as far as
I think so.
Yes.
We definitely think so at the PIAJ, because currently all investment managers and administrators don't have to, there's no central place you would see all, like a schedule of fees and costs.
Right.
And so just like if you were to go to competitors, the costs from each competitor, you would have to kind of do a one-by-one assessment. There isn't a central database.
Oh.
So what this will do, though, is we anticipate that it will require greater disclosure and, as I said, sunlight on the fees, so that employers and employees can make better informed decisions as it relates to the retirement scheme they may want to be enrolled into.
And portability is always a question when it comes on to pensions, as in the ability to move from one place to another to take your pension money with you, so to speak. That's not too much of an issue now, is it?
No, and in fact, we have portability now. If you are a member of the Scotia Bridge Retirement Scheme, you're able to port your benefit if you wish to NCB Smart or to Proven. You're able to do that now. That's a feature of our framework, and so that's not going to change. And so when you get auto-enrolled into a particular retirement scheme, even if you change employers, that account that you have at that particular retirement scheme provider still is in your name. It's not attached to the employer. And that's one of the benefits we see and what we're advocating at the PIAJ. Take advantage of auto-enrolling into the existing retirement scheme framework that we have, which they have a lot of benefits in terms of portability, immediate vesting. What that means is that once you contribute or your employer contributes on your behalf, that money is immediately vested, it immediately belongs to you. You don't have to work with the employer for a particular period of time for you to be entitled to that money. And so we have an existing framework, and it works. And so we would want to advocate enrolling into the existing framework. So we're not disrupting the existing framework. What we're doing is changing how the first step is made. So rather than saying, everybody, it's important for a pension plan, and we're trying to kind of encourage people to take the initiative on their own, we're saying, we'll take the initiative for you. We're going to have your employer take that first step for you. You can come out if you want, but we're going to put you in as a first step.
What can you tell us about the level of success enjoyed in other countries as far as auto enrollment is concerned?
There are lots of countries that have had a great deal of success. The United States, they've rolled it out on a state-by-state basis. For example, in California, Oregon, Illinois, if you look at their statistics, what we call the opt-out statistics. So we look, the measure of success is what percentage of persons actually come back out. If you've auto-enrolled them, how many come back out? And in aggregate in the US, that's at about 32%. So only about a third of persons will come out. And what you find is that most of these programs across the globe have what you call auto re-enrollment. So if somebody comes out, they get put back in at an interval, maybe 2 years, every 3 years. Because by and large, people want to save for retirement. There's no one that you will meet that says, that's not important to me. It is important. It's just oftentimes we don't feel like we have the fiscal space to do it at the time. And we often just don't really get around to it. In Britain, their opt-out rate is 10%. But what we find in Britain is that employers are required to contribute. So that has contributed to a great part to the success they've had, because of course, as I said earlier, if I put in $5 and my employer is putting in 5, that's double my money without me having to do anything. And then of course you get the tax benefits. You do have some countries where it hasn't been that successful. And what we've found when you study those jurisdictions, a big part of the kind of lack of success is oftentimes there is already a robust retirement framework in those countries. So people already have coverage. They already have a kind of cushion for retirement. And so auto enrollment was an additional feature that many persons would feel like it's not necessary for me to take this extra step. And so overall, what I would conclude on the point of success in other jurisdictions is that it depends on a number of features. Is the employer required to contribute? Are there any tax benefits? How is the rollout taking place? Is it everybody all at one time, or is it a phased approach? Phased approaches tend to have more success than a kind of, one swoop. Our proposal contemplates a phased approach. What does the education, the PR and public education campaign look like for people who are confused and they think it's too much and it's scary, they feel overwhelmed? They'll just opt out and say they can't be bothered. But if employers and the government and stakeholder groups like the PIAJ take the time to hold the hand of employees and educate them and assure them that this is an important thing for them to do and to stay in, we find that also contributes to success.
So as it is now, employers are exempt from contributing to their employees' pensions under the proposed auto enrollment?
Right. Under the proposed plan, there is no suggestion at this time for employers to be mandated to contribute for employees, because then that would make it a mandatory pension system, and we're not advocating for that. We're saying we're kind of taking baby steps. We may get to that place as a country, but where we are now, we just want people engaged in a retirement scheme account. We want you in a program. We may get to the place, in a few years or sometime in the future, where employers know there's some kind of statutory mandate for employers to contribute. But right now, if you don't have your own pension plan, this is the employer that is. There would be no expectation that you would now have to contribute to a retirement scheme.
What are the provisions or what provisions are in place to ensure that pension funds are turned over to the retirement scheme?
So currently there are penalties if an employer takes a deduction from an employee's salary. Currently that's the law and does not turn it over. There are penalties, fines, imprisonment. There is a system, a penalty system regime in place already, and that would not change in this scenario. So in this proposal, so if an employer were to enroll you into the retirement scheme, deduct from your salary and ought to pay it over to the retirement scheme provider, but doesn't, those same penalties would apply. And one of the things I want to just emphasize, as I said I touched on it a little earlier, we are not changing the current statutory retirement scheme structure that exists. We are kind of tacking on to it and simply saying, put persons into retirement schemes as a first step.
Your position is quite clear. How can our listeners at home and abroad learn more about the work of the Pension Industry Association of Jamaica, and in fact also get in touch with the Pension Industry Association of Jamaica?
Our website is piaj.org, so that's easy to remember, and we have a lot of information on our website. And of course, we're on all our socials. Our handle is at Jamaica Pensions. Also very easy. So at Jamaica Pensions, you can find us on all the socials: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, most of the socials. Yes. And at piaj.org is our website.
And going forward, what can we expect in terms of, are you on a continuum right now in terms of where you are now? Are you where you want to be? What's the next move from here?
Our next move, our hope is to close out the stakeholder engagement with the Ministry of Finance. And we're hopeful that if we get that support at the ministry level, then we would move forward with our legislative committee. There may be some further stakeholder engagements that the ministry would require to take place. And we take that on a kind of phase by phase basis.
Mm-hmm. And so now, in terms of the mechanics, who would you interface with, the individual pensioners or the organizations, the entities managing the pension?
When you say who is the whom, in who would?
I'm sorry, as the PIAJ. In other words, is it an organization that the average Joe like me can just get up and walk into your office and say, I want to do business? Or is it a situation where if there's a pension scheme or superannuation arrangement, whatever it is, that the interactions would be between the PIAJ and these pension fund managers? I'm just trying to establish what's the relationship like? How does that work? Or if it's not in place yet, how will that work?
This is in terms of under the program?
Yes.
Right. So what we are doing is we're advocating for this establishment, statutory establishment. We wouldn't be an active agent in the actual operationalizing of it. In other words, once it's enrolled, once it's
enforced,
once enacted exactly into statute, it ought to just kind of run on its own. The enforcement and monitoring would be with government agencies, whether that be the FSC or the TAJ, which is part of the proposal that will ultimately need to be kind of refined and we get buy-in and alignment on. But we would not be taking contributions or enrolling anyone. We're advocating for a change in the retirement scheme framework that we have and how we get people into retirement schemes. And we would be a big part of the public education initiatives around that and implementation. But when it comes to the operationalizing of it and the enforcement and monitoring, that would be with our government agencies as they exist now.
Understood. Here's a message coming from one of our regular listeners, Albert in Coconut Creek, Florida. He says, Dervan, can you ask if folks in the diaspora can participate in the pension fund? I see the pension fund. I don't know.
It would be right. So it would be the same eligibility that currently obtains for retirement schemes. There would be persons who ordinarily reside in Jamaica and work in Jamaica.
Oh.
Ordinarily reside. So it's for Jamaicans, people who earn an income here. And that's a big part. It's not just our proposal, it's how our income tax legislation is framed and how it maps against our pension legislation.
Understood. Well, we feel so much smarter having listened to you, Sanya Goff. Thank you so much for sharing. We'll be happy to have you back on this program whenever the need arises, because
thank you so much.
It is a major issue. It has significant implications. And 18%, whether it be 10% or 18%, that's really, really far too low. We have a lot of work to do, but where your enthusiasm is rather infectious, so I'm sure you give us hope. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Dervan. Great to talk to you.
Same here.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. Sanya Goff, president of the Pension Industry Association of Jamaica, PIOJ, urging the government of Jamaica to adopt auto-enrollment to address the impending pension crisis. Looking forward to following up on this matter. More in a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30. Nutrimix is right here with farmers like you in the pen, in the field, wherever you are, providing improved genetics, quality feeds, and technical advice that can help you grow your animals and your business. So if you're curious about livestock farming or you're already a farmer, we are right here and ready to support you every step of the way. Are you ready? Visit Farm Nutrimix on Facebook and Instagram or call 876-922-2606. Get the most accurate news, sports, commentary, business, and more every Sunday from the best. The Sunday Gleaner. Discover a new job, home, or upgrade to a new car. Get the latest in entertainment, health, finance, and so much more.
Purchase your copy this Sunday. The Sunday Gleaner gives you everything you need and more. The Gleaner, where life unfolds.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5:29. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5:29. 现在地点了5:29. 29 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story. Paro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. Where did Steve McDonald go? Sorry about that. Perhaps he was unable to wait any longer. He had been on the line waiting for the conclusion of the pension interview. And sorry about the wait. Steve, please feel free, if you're able to call us back, and we'll be happy to listen to your side of the story here on Both Sides of the Story. Paro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And oh dear. Well, the Gleaner is keeping us updated on different developments in the news. There's one story here: sentencing postponed for conductor who dumped girl's body in Rio Cobre. The sentencing of a bus conductor who pleaded guilty to killing a 7-year-old, Jesus, and dumping her body in the Rio Cobre has again been postponed in the St. Catherine Circuit Court. Oh boy. There's oh dear. There's another story that